Red hot. Here we go. Happy Memorial Day out there. Sports Bet betting inside today. Pauly and Teddy, SBR picks. I'm at Real Sports Bet. He's at Teddy_covers. We got a Game 7 tonight in the West and Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Way to think it through, NHL. You're going head-to-head with Game 7. You had Saturday and Sunday afternoon to yourselves as they try to stretch this thing out. We'll preview both of those games coming up. We'll turn the shot clock on and play of the day. We look to stay red hot with the play of the day before we get out of here. LeBron back in the finals for the 8th straight year. 87-79. Good tweet from Coach David Thorpe. All the Celtics had to do was play an average game and they would have won. They held the Cavs to 59 points through 3 quarters at home, and they trailed. Hideous numbers, Teddy. 7 of 39 from 3. Smart, Rozier, and Brown got combined 8 of 42. The total was steamed down from 201.5 to 198. Cavs win on the road. Celtics finally lose a home game.
Yeah, and of course, if you're a Boston supporter, you say, well, that's the time to lose the home game, Game 7, where the Celtics really didn't look very good. Both teams looked tired. I thought that Cleveland's experience absolutely mattered last night. The Cavs didn't wilt, and LeBron played like the best player in basketball with clutch shot after clutch shot after clutch shot down the stretch. Boston couldn't match. Horford didn't hit any clutch shot. Nobody hit any clutch shots for the Celtics. Talk about Smart and Rozier coming up small in the biggest game. And again, everyone's gassed. Physical 7-game series. The under, the right side, certainly. Cleveland, the right side as well. That 10-0 Celtics straight up an ATS run, the one they lost was the one that mattered most.
Good point by you. 5th game in 8 days, and it showed with those teams. Rozier, 2 of 14. Pass the ball, please. Quit jacking up bad shots. That was a guy who was reading his own press clippings as well. And they should have been up 20 at the half. I agree with the announcers on that one, that the Celtics were up 12 and then missed wide open look after wide open look, and it was only a 4-point game at the half. All right, bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. We mentioned the under there. That was bad for the house. How about a moose in Cleveland? 8-3 Astros, bottom of the 9th. Indians were plus $1.10. They rally to tie it. The last 2 guys get hits with 2 outs, or with 2 strikes rather, and then the Astros take the lead in the 13th. The Indians tie it, and then they win in the 14th, Teddy. Horrible beat if you had the Astros.
Oh, no question about it. When you got a 5-run lead in the bottom of the 9th, you're supposed to win those. And then when you blow that but get out of the jam and then take a lead again in extras, yeah, you're probably supposed to win that. And, of course, when you have the better of the 2 bullpens, it's been the Indians' bullpen that's been problematic for most of the year. Houston's bullpen's been the good one, in theory. Wasn't yesterday. A moose? Yeah, 5-run lead in the 9th, and you don't catch that ticket. No. That, folks, is a moose. My condolences for those of you who had Astros tickets in your pockets yesterday.
Horrible beat in the Champions League final as well. Liverpool and Real Madrid, 3.5. Depends where you shop, what you decided to do when you wanted to bet it. 3-1 final. How about the last goal that goes in? The Liverpool keeper. I mean, as Scott Van Pelt said, I would have had that. Goes right between, right, he has it. Has his hands on the ball from way out. And the first goal was Mickey Mouse as well. Tough loss for Liverpool. Horrible beat if you had under, as that gets there with a 3-1 final. In that one, Madrid does it again. Bad bets. Rockies over 11.5 up to 12.5. Never a chance against the Reds. Giants plus 180 to plus 160. Lost at home. Horrible job by Major League Baseball. The Cubs play the night game at home, and now they got to play an early day game in Pittsburgh. The Cubs win at home. Texas, major steam. 165 up to $2. Arizona, what have they lost now? 14-16 or something? 15-17? $1.05 up to $1.20. Oh, horrible. Greinke pitched well, but they got beaten. The Mets took money. All losers here.
Yeah, a very good result for the books in MLB when all the big moves go their way. Rockies over doesn't cash. San Fran doesn't cash. Texas, Arizona, and the New York Metropolitans all take money and lose. That, a bookmaker's wet dream. And we saw some of that clearly on Sunday.
All right, here we go. Game 7, Western Conference Finals, TNT. In some spots, this opened 4.5 and 210. It's now Golden State 6.5 and 207.5. How about the adjusted total here, Teddy? I think it was Game 4. It was 227. Now we're down to 207.5. Thanks to Intertop Sportsbook, 22 years online. Sign up, deposit, and win. Paul doubtful. I'll be shocked if he plays with the hammy injury. Horrible news for the Rockets. Iguodala doubtful as well. So you have that news. What a wild game 6 was, Teddy, as the Rockets led by 17 and then get run out by 30.
Yeah. So I'm at a barbecue on Saturday night. We're watching the game. The game's on. And second quarter, Houston's up. What are they up? 16 or something. And my buddy's like, Rockets pick them in game right now, right? Rockets pick them in game now, right? I'm like, no. If you wanted the Rockets, you wanted them before tip off. But it just goes to show you what the giant swing was in that ball game, with Houston dominating early and then Golden State. To say they took control of that game, it's something of an understatement. Chris Paul out, as you mentioned again tonight, but the quotes from Houston, this is a team that we have questions about their mentality when it comes to big games. I went back and look. Harden in game 7 had won at home, beat the Clippers in his tenure in Houston. So it's not like Harden's lost plenty of home games in the postseason. Game 7s in particular, he played fairly well in the one that he's had as a home favorite against LA. That was a couple years back. James Harden's quote, "Nothing changes for us. We know what we have to do. We're still confident. We're a confident group, and we've just got one chance." PJ Tucker talking about Chris Paul's absence. Obviously, we want to have him. He's one of the best guards in the league. But if he doesn't play, we'll figure it out. We're going to do what we've got to do to win this game. The 5 guys on the floor and whoever else is playing, we're going to roll. It's what we do. It's what we're built for. Of course, when we talk about Houston's last 2 wins, it was Chris Paul. He averaged, 23.5 points in those 2 victories. Houston off a loss has been pretty good this postseason. No question about it. They won them all, in fact, straight up and against the spread. This dates back to January, where the Rockets haven't lost back-to-back games. And it's worth noting, 15-9 straight up in games where Chris Paul didn't play during the regular season.
Here we go again. These games are every other night, and you got travel factored in too. It was astonishing what happened in Game 6. The Rockets scored 25 points in the second half after scoring 39 in the first quarter. At Klay Thompson citing he was great in Game 6. Curry played well. Durant struggled again too. He was 6 of 17. But the problem with the Warriors, they're playing 4 guys. It's 4 on 5 on offense because Bell and Looney can't do anything. So that's the big loss of Iguodala. And we'll see if Swaggy P and some of these other guys get more minutes and get some run. On McCaw sighting, that's a great story. The kid from UNLV, he came back after that horrible fall when he was out and missed most of the rest of the season as well. So he came back in the Game 6 performance as well. But all hands on deck. But Teddy, the Rockets only play 7 guys to begin with. And if you don't have Paul, you're stuck with Green and Emba, Mute, and Anderson getting some minutes here.
Yeah, but, we see role players step up and play well. Look at Jeff Green last night for Cleveland. It happens. It's not, when we think about Luke Mbah a Moute going in the post, you can be like, wow, this guy matters for Houston. The fact that he hasn't played squat doesn't mean that he's not capable of having a game 7 that we will remember. Mike D'Antoni and the Rockets, I think, have taken the right mentality here. D'Antoni. So we've got what we want. Now it's up to us to go get it. It will be rocking. And H-Town? That's for H-Town will be fired up.
H-Town.
It's up to us to knock them out. And that's the right mentality for Houston. You asked the Rockets at the beginning of the season, we had a home Game 7 to play Golden State for the right to go to the finals. I'll take it in a New York minute. So to say, all right, they got killed last time out, and they've been blown out. And they really, I can't say they've been the better team of this series. There's been a clear right side in 4 of the 6 games. The other 2 games were coin flips where Golden State missed everything and Houston hit a couple of shots late to escape. That's how we're 3-3 in this series. But, this quote from Steve Kerr stands out to me a little bit. Quote, "We like to get off to a better start, but we like our formula. We like our defense against these guys. And we feel confident that we can carry this through to Game 7 on the road and continue to make things as difficult as possible on Houston without fouling." Fascinating game tonight, Pauly. Really is. And not a game that I'm excited about betting on. I don't have a side on this contest. I don't have a total either. Not going in. We'll see what happens in game wagering. How about you? You playing anything on this game tonight?
It's an inflated line. I took Golden State a while back to win the West, so I'm not going to do anything. But this is an inflated line. I know you watch what happened in Game 6. You're like, Christ, how are they going to compete? They were outscored by 50 points 40 points over that stretch in the last two quarters. So that was ugly. But worth noting, the defending champs have won 8 in a row in Game 7 conference finals as well. So Golden State has that going for them as well. All right. The most improbable story in American sports history. The Golden Knights at home, Stanley Cup Finals tonight, and favored to win it all. Game 1, 5.5. The series price $1.50, and the Knights are $1.50 against the Capitals. Full marks to Ovechkin and the Capitals. They do it again on the road. They beat Tampa. They are 8-2 on the road. How about this tweet again? Let's bring this up from Doug Kazarian, ESPN. It's a $5 to $10 million loss for sportsbooks in Las Vegas if the Knights win it all, and a $2 million loss at William Hill alone. Here's some of the biggest tickets out there at the Westgate: $400 at 300 to 1. CG Technology, $500 at 200 to 1. South Point, $400 at 150 to 1. Golden Nugget, $250 at 200 to 1. William Hill, $1,000 at 50 to 1. And it won't stop. There was a $10,000 bet at the even money last week at the win. It's just nothing but Golden Knights money nonstop, and the locals are betting them every home game too, Teddy, and taking a piece of that puck line. So they're going to take a bath here, and it's going to be the worst result ever for a future if they win it all locally.
Yeah, what they cash 50 games on the puck line in the regular season?
Oh,
underdog price. For as much as the Golden Knights have brought Las Vegas together, and this team really has been a special story in a town that I love, and a town that was rocked by tragedy right before the start of the season. And to see this team capture the city and then go on and you're saying it's the best story of all time. Come on. The Braves and the Twins were both 100 to 1 shots to win the World Series.
Cut it out. Will you stop it? Get out of here with that.
State
This is an
beating
expansion
Houston.
team, for Christ's sake. 500 to 1 expansion team. 4 wins away from winning it all.
They haven't won it all yet, though. And if they win it all, we can start talking about Vegas as the greatest sport in American sports history. At this point, we can talk about it as a potential for the greatest story in American sports history, the greatest long shot in American sports history. There have been some, and I should probably go back and do some research, find stuff that's longer than this. The Rams, they were 200 to 1. But there's certainly been plenty of long shots. That being said, this team's really good. And it's like people still don't believe it. The expansion label over the Vegas Golden Knights has so dwarfed everything else about them that people just haven't been able to get over it. They've been good since October. They've been at this level, or at a high level. And it's a France expansion. They haven't been hot. They've been good. And of course, talk about the pressure on the next expansion team. But the bottom line for Vegas,
Good luck, Seattle.
I can't lay it tonight. Yeah. I can't lay it tonight, Pauly. In terms of laying a price, with a team like the Caps that's done nothing but win road games throughout the postseason, I'm not in a rush to lay with the Golden Knights in Game 1, even though, boy, they're a good story.
They probably were the best team in hockey the whole year. Remember, Fleury got hurt twice with a concussion and missed a long stretch. How good was this team? They went 6-6-2 with a fourth-string goalie. Unheard of. Been following hockey for 40. I've never heard of that before. Other than the accountant getting in there with the Blackhawks, they went 6-6-2 on an East Coast road trip with their fourth-string goalie. And the depth, 4 lines, the speed, turning you over an elite goalie. Some numbers. The first goal is going to be huge tonight, and it's always huge in Golden Knight games. 10-1 in the playoffs when they score first. I think it's 44-6 or 44-7 on the year when they score first. 6-1 at home in the playoffs. The only home loss, they were screwed with the goalie interference call, which was friendly fire on Jones, should have counted. They blew a 2-0 lead in that game, and also the power plays were 7-1 in favor of San Jose, which the officials were horrible in that game. 12-3 in the playoffs, the best record entering the Cup since the 2012 Kings, who only had 2 losses. So they are kicking ass and taking names. They were dogs in the Western Conference Finals against Winnipeg, lost Game 1, then ran them out in 5 and never trailed in the next 4 games. You got an elite goalie. You got a deep team. The fourth line had the 2 goals against the Jets to win Game 5 on the road. You have the Ovechkin angle as well. Holtby's playing well. This almost didn't happen because Trotz, that buffoon, came out there with Grubauer to start the Columbus series. They're down 0-2. They had to win Game 3 on the road in double overtime. which was ridiculous. So yes, 8-2 on the road. The record is 10 wins, most all time on the road in the playoffs. So it's going to be fantastic tonight in all games here. 5 o'clock Pacific time where they drop the puck. How about game 2? Game 2 on Wednesday. It's going to be 100 degrees, Teddy.
Yeah, easy. No problem. Let's take a look at some of the questions from the chat. Some of the comments. Tomarino Tomar. It seems like the media is afraid to criticize Brad Stevens. How do you shoot 39 three-pointers when you're shooting 18% from the three-point line? I agree with the concept. Once a coach gets anointed as he's a great coach, then the media falls in love with them because the media doesn't know anything about the sports that they cover. But as a bettor, it's important to recognize the coach isn't the guy out there on the floor. Last night I wasn't impressed with Stevens' adjustments. I certainly wasn't impressed with the Celtics' execution of their game plan. You ask me, who do I blame more? I blame the Celtics' execution, less so much on the head coach.
Good answer. Guys,
what
they
else?
went to the seventh. They went to a 7th game without their 2 best players. Give me a break. The guy's unbelievable. He took Butler to back-to-back national title games. Give me a break. Now, they should have settled, get the ball to Horford more as well. But again, you got these guys who think they're Superman. Rozier, and why is Rozier taking that many shots, especially when he couldn't make one? And just chucking a 3 every possession down in a final 3 minutes as well. But they blew the game in the first half. They're getting wide open looks and couldn't knock anything down when Cleveland couldn't make anything, and they should have been up 20.
Yeah, Brad Stevens even said that after the game. He said that we lost this game at the end of the first half when we didn't extend that lead and allowed them to catch up. Paco Healy, Ted, Pauly, how realistic is the Cavs win over either one of these Western teams? Cleveland's playing defense at a level that they didn't play in the regular season. They've got the best player in the world, and they've gotten to the finals despite the fact their supporting cast has been hit or miss throughout the way.
Zero. Come on, bring it.
Cast, I would call them somewhat live against Golden State or Houston. I'm interested to see the series price on those two. If I'm getting $5 with Cleveland or $6, I might take a look.
I heard $9 or minus 1,000. Cleveland has no shot against Golden State. Zero. Their team stinks. The roster's horrible. They'll get eviscerated by Golden State. Their defense is still lousy, and oh God, I think Golden State would sweep them if that's the matchup.
Yeah, these guys don't like Kevin Durant. KD can never be the guy on the team without other great players. He isn't a closer. He's mentally weak. What do you think?
Did you watch the finals last year, guys? Jesus Christ. Come on, guys. He struggled. But
he's so damn insecure in the way he talks and holds himself.
It was a discussion. LeBron or Durant? Who's better? That was a discussion last year at finals time. Durant was sensational in the finals. Give me a break. He struggled, though. He's settling too much. Got to do a better job. He's got to attack. He's got to start posting these guys up with his size advantage as well. But I think you break out of it tonight.
Appreciate the comments and questions, guys. What else do we have? Anything more?
All right,
shot single. Yeah, let's get the shot clock on. It's Memorial Day, man. Let's get out of here. I know you guys don't want to stay all day.
All right, which game will be better to watch tonight? You going NBA or NHL? After what we saw in Game 6, I don't know. This could get out of control as well with Harden tendency to get tired. Maybe they pack it in if the wheels come off. I guess you could say they did that in Game 6, but you think the supporting cast would show up and get a better job in H-Town. I'm going to go with the Stanley Cup Finals, though. I think this will be fantastic. You would see, I think it's going to be back and forth. Long layoff, though. Golden Knights, 32 days off in the playoffs here. Extended layoff. Could be a little sloppy out of the gates as well. But I think the NHL will live up to the hype, and this will be, as you mentioned, there's 3 parts to this story. I don't want to go long here. But it's the betting angle. It's an expansion team. Everyone on that roster being told, you're not good enough. We're going with someone else over you. And the local angle, uniting a community with the shooting October 1st as well. It's going to be an emotional night for everybody, and I think it's going to be a fantastic watch with the pregame ceremony and the unthinkable happening that an expansion team is hosting Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final.
Yes, it's unthinkable, but it's also Game 1. So you say, which game's going to be better to watch tonight? I'll take a Game 7, a win or go home between the defending champs and, their the team that came into the playoffs is the most exciting offensive squad in the league this year. But you have to look at a Game 7 as being the better game to watch, even if it's ugly. Look, hockey, there's going to be 3 goals scored or 4 goals scored or 5 goals scored. NBA, there's going to be 200 points scored. It'll be more exciting. But Game 7 versus Game 1, that's my bottom line. I understand all you NHL fans enjoy Game 1. I'll be watching Game 7 and clicking over during the commercials.
Get out of here. 2 TVs. Come on. Sorry for stepping on you. It's hard sometimes back and forth with Skype and to hear you. So sorry for stepping on you. Money time play of the day. Let's stay red hot. Let's go the hockey game under. Game 1. Vegas Caps under 5.5. 2 good goalies. Holtby and Fleury under 5.5 minus 120. Long layoff for both teams. An extended layoff, especially for the Golden Knights. And Fleury's been fantastic. How about this? He could win he probably wins the Conn Smythe, win or lose in this series. And how about that? A couple weeks ago, he's plus 650. That was the way to go. So we'll go under in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Back tomorrow. Win totals out. All the college football at the South Point. We'll run down those. A lot of surprises there. I'll tell you one right now. How about Washington, 10.5? They're dogs against Auburn to start the season on a neutral. We'll recap Game 7 and an early finals preview tomorrow on SportsBit. Betting Insight today on SBRPicks.com. Thanks for watching. Happy Memorial Day.
Cheers, guys.